Please state the nature of the medical emergency. Ah, I see that your pinball skills are less than galactic. Well, Starfleet regulation specifically prohibits me from doing any kind of endorsement, but I do suggest a sustained dose of Gonzo's Pinball Fliporama might help remedy the affliction that you suffer from. In other words, should you have to pilot a shuttlecraft or even a starship, you would need a better reaction time than you presently seem to demonstrate. So please consider a sustained dose of Gonzo's Pinball Fliporama to remedy this affliction, or perhaps some other kind of Fliporama that I'm not aware of. All right? EMH, out.
I'm here with Matt. How you doing, mate?
I'm not bad, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm very, very well, thank you. So Matt is, would it be fair to call you the founding member of Flipout?
I'm the chairman.
You're the chairman, and basically Flipout, for those of you that don't know, we're going to put a Flipout video on here. There are 10 wonderfully generous people who all go together to supply machines to Flipout to help with the running costs of the place, and basically to provide this venue to everybody. We're doing a separate video where we'll talk you through the venue. This is more about just having a chat with Matt. Spencer's on camera, so we're going to sort of swap in and out. And I just wanted to go around, Matt, and just have a little look at the machines, a little talk through the machines.
Yeah, sure.
But before we do, we need to know what got you. Let's get the nitty-gritty out of the way. What got you into pinball?
Always played a lot of smaller pinball machines and computer pinball games when I was a kid. My dad was a big lover. But I really got into it when I became a manager of a snooker club. And they asked me what machines I wanted in the venue. And I said I want a pinball machine, a twin Sega Rally and a shooter. And the operator said that they won't last 5 minutes, which was true of the shooting game and the driving game, but the pinball stayed.
What was it?
The first game of Ghost was Attack from Mars.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I didn't know I was going to say that. It looks all set up. It's not set up. Yeah. As if by magic. Attack from Mars. Great game, Matt.
It was. I fell in love with it. During the day when it was quiet, I'd put a big score up, then offer a free jug of beer to anyone that could beat it. Then all night the punters would attempt to beat the score, and if they did and they got a jug of beer out of me, they were all celebrating and pouring their 4 pints.
When you say beat it,
they'd have to get a higher score on the high score.
Oh,
table.
okay. They didn't have to knock everyone off or anything like that.
No. It was just a bit of fun to try and get some interest in it, and it also kept my punters there longer. So it works well, and I enjoy playing as well. And some of those people are still friends today that come and play pinball to this day.
For a jug of beer still.
Well, you know, when we're playing for fun.
Absolutely. Why the club? Why do this?
Okay, so
Just have a little. Just because if you have a look around here, there's machines all over the place. I'm mindful that this is going to be some people's first ever glimpse of Flipout, which is an amazing venue. Why do this?
So originally I played a lot of competition. So I went to my first UK Pinball League meet, did terribly, but got the bug. Then went to another competition, did quite well. And before I knew it, I was going abroad with the missus. I'd say, do you fancy a weekend in Milan? And she'd get all excited and we'd turn up at pinball.
Absolutely, quite right, so I like it.
And I really got into it, but travelling to the European venues, they had pinball clubs there, some much smaller, but they had a real community feel. And I just kept thinking, why can't we do this in the UK? And it took a long time. Venues were far too expensive for the most part, but after about 5 years, the opportunity to take this place came up, so I sent an email out to some other like-minded people to see if they'd be willing to front them the cash to pay the rent to see if we could get it off the ground, and 4 years later we're still here.
Well, it's an absolutely fantastic venue. What's your favourite game?
That's a tough one. Historically, I've always said Attack from Mars.
Right.
It's the game that really got me in.
Yeah, for the reasons that you said.
Then in recent years, AC/DC was a big favourite of mine.
Yeah. We got one here. We have got one here.
There's one over the back there.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that in a second.
But the more I play, the more I get drawn to the old games. 9-ball. It's an old, simple game, but it flows great, and it can be brutal at times, but when you get it going, it's great fun. So, I mean, it's difficult. I find joy in a lot of games, so...
Is it just me, or is that over there, Spencer, over there... Yeah, I'll take that if you want. Go and look at that stern over there.
What have we got here?
Is it just me, or is that shorter? Is it...
Yes, on the wrong legs.
It is, isn't it?
What, Spencer or the pinball machine?
It's a bit like Chris.
I bought it from somebody that had it on those legs, but those are actually black Bally Williams legs.
Okay.
They're not Stern legs, so they're actually the wrong legs.
There you go. Well, I say not a lot of people know that. Probably everybody knows that.
But it's a good height for my kids when they want to play.
Actually, that's really good. And me.
It's not a bad idea.
It's a good height for
it's
me,
ideal
isn't it?
for you.
Yeah.
Well, we have stalls for the youngsters when they come.
We do have stalls. So what's so special about this 9-ball then?
Yeah, come and show us the 9-ball.
So 9-ball is quite a basic game. It's a standard 2-flipper game. You've got targets either side, you've got your multipliers up here, and you've got the drop targets that you need to hit down in order. So when you get to number 5, it lights the lock. It's a game designed by a guy called Steve Kirk, and he was a real sort of founding father of competition pinball in America. Another one of his games is Meteor, which is similar to this.
I've heard of Meteor.
It's a simple game.
I think Neil's got one at his house,
He
hasn't
has, yeah. This is Neil's as well. But it's addictively fun to play. The geometry of the shots is just so well laid out. It's just a great fun game to play.
So do you think this has been designed specifically for competition in mind?
Yeah, I mean, if you
Spencer,
look at the
fire
sticker
it
that
up.
was on it, it says selected for Papa tournament play. It's, you know,
Fire it up, Spence. Go
fire
on.
it up.
Matt talk you through it.
you want to try and hit this target up the top here,
Okay.
which will light your spinner to maximum value instantly if you
Okay.
can get it. It's about a 3/4 plunge. Oh, you got it. There you go. So now
I'm sure it's pure luck.
it was, but so if
Thank
you,
you.
Is that a magnet up there?
So at this point, so that spinner, if you can keep it spinning, it will continue to give maximum points,
Okay.
and then there's a delay. So now it's gone out. But if you keep it going, so when you land in here when it's not the lock, it will drop all the targets and give you one.
Okay.
That's unfortunate.
These true skills have shown through there.
But
Thank you.
you'll see that the target here with the light lit, if you knock that target back down, you'll increase your multiplier, and that carries over ball to ball.
The only reason I said Spencer to go and not Matt is this is Matt's machine, and Matt will probably we'll probably take up the whole Chinwag with one game of 9-ball.
That was hopelessly dead ball at the bottom
Because
there.
I knew Spencer would have a really short game.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go. You've got the spinner lit again. If you can get it under control, or bounce it. That's it.
Oh, that's good. That post in the middle.
When you get really dialed in on this game, you'll find you use that centre post all the time.
So, when was this game made, Matt?
This would have been early 80s, around 81, I guess, maybe a touch later.
I see what you mean about that centre pin. It can be useful.
Yeah.
If you trust it, I'm so used to having a gap down the middle there, I don't trust myself to let it go.
The way the game's designed, and I believe it is deliberate, you can drop the flipper, the ball will run off, hit the post, and you can nudge and it'll bounce it over.
Yeah.
And you can do the same on Meteor, so I'm sure it's deliberate. But just the geometry of these shots, if you want to get into that lock there's no obvious way, but you can shoot from here and it naturally arcs it into there.
I did that earlier on, off the end of that flipper, spin that, and it went up into there.
It's just a really fun, quick game. It's simple, but as I say, when I first got into pinball, it was all about the DMDs, the Bally Williams.
Sure.
But the longer I've been playing, the more I get drawn to these games because A, you can have a quick game when you want to, and B, because they can be brutal at times, when you get that good game, it's just so satisfying. If I play Monster Bash, I'm disappointed if I don't get a good game. With something like this, I'm at the stage where I really enjoy it when I have a good game. So that's
my only experience of machines this age is Firepower.
Firepower, yeah.
I had a friend of mine who had a Firepower, and again, really frustrating most of the time.
Yeah.
But you get a good game on it. Oh my God, is that satisfying?
Yeah, it's true. The only problem with those era of Williams games is unless the flippers are really well maintained, they can be a bit weak. The Bally games and Stern games of that era, well, Stern games used Bally boards and just ripped it off. The flippers feel so much better. But there'll be Williams fans that will disagree with that, but my experience of playing games, unless they're freshly refurbished, the flippers on Williams can tend to get a bit weak.
Matt, you've got. If you walk down there, I just want to show people some of the games there. But you've got games on location, haven't you?
I have. Well, my wife has technically, yes. London Pinball, we put games out in bars. We do home hires.
How's that for you? I mean, I've sort of think about, a lot of people that put games on location and now how expensive games are. How's that in terms of getting a return from them, in terms of buying a new
If I was to tell you the value of the machines I've got on site and the income they generate, it wouldn't make a good business, honestly, especially not at the moment. Having said that, if you had enough machines out, you could probably earn a good living, but it's, in terms of percentage of return on investment, it's not great.
So you have to tie up a lot of money in the machines.
Yeah.
Is the hope that you'll get that money back out of the machines at the end of it, and in the meantime they'll have earned you an income?
That's the idea. I mean, to be honest, at the moment, the only reason it's truly viable is because the value of the second-hand machines is so strong. When the first time we put a game out, we were putting out fishtails, cost you £1,000, you put it in a bar, and let's be honest, the price of play hasn't changed that much. It might have been £3 for £1 then, whereas now, £3 for £2 then, whereas now you might just pay £1 a pop. But yeah, it's much more difficult when a new machine's over £7,000 for a pro. So as a business, I think you need to have a bit of a love. I mean, for me, a lot of it is getting pinball out there to the masses. I mean, I wouldn't have started a club or been involved in it because it's totally detrimental to the business. So
you definitely seem like a man on a mission, and long may it continue.
I haven't found anyone, no matter what they've said beforehand about, for example, people here, I've got loads of pinball machines I think are mad, family members. Yet they come around, they play, they love them. I've not had anyone come around and go, oh, they're rubbish. I knew they were rubbish. Most of the time, or in nearly all cases, once they start playing them, they enjoy them. It's just they don't have the exposure. So the more exposure we can get out there, the better.
Yeah, well, you don't really see an awful lot of them in arcades anymore. There was a time when there were loads out there.
You don't see a lot of arcades.
And now you have to hunt them down.
Yeah.
Do you remember, Spence, us going to the pier in Bournemouth, and that was the first time? Do you remember what they had there?
Yeah, they had 4 games. They actually had a Deadpool there, didn't they?
They had a Deadpool, they had a Star Wars.
That was my first experience of a Deadpool.
That was my first experience of a Spike 2 game. It was my first experience of a modern game on Bournemouth Pier.
Yeah.
But the big problem is, in most cases, especially on piers, they're either not well maintained.
They weren't.
I went and played Led Zeppelin on Brighton Pier. It was leaning badly, the ball jumped off the rail. I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I've only started to enjoy it now that we've got one here that plays properly and you can start to appreciate it. But my first impressions playing it on the pier was, this is terrible, and the money was gone in a flash.
Which you wouldn't expect from a new game. You'd think even if you played that somewhere else, that it couldn't have been run down that much that quickly, you know?
The problem is that's in a effectively a very large arcade with hundreds of machines, and there's 2 pinballs. So
sure.
They pretty much, I suspect, were taken out of a box, set up for coin play and left.
Do you think the skills are lacking at places like Brighton Pier to actually maintain the machines?
I don't want to speak about Brighton Pier specifically, but I think in general, yes, because I mean, my father-in-law was an operator, and they got out of pinballs 10, 15 years ago because they were too much work for the money they brought in. Yeah. Fruit machines, pool tables are much less maintenance and they earn good money. Fruit machines, it's just collecting cash effectively.
Very much so.
And the same with jukeboxes, so because they're all digital now, so they're lower maintenance than they ever were. So for an operator to put a pinball machine out on site is generally just to keep the site happy, to ensure they keep the fruit machine business. That's for the majority of mainstream operators these days. That's the only reason they put pins on site, is if the site requires or requests it, they'll do it to keep them happy. But I don't think, as I say, in terms of money earners, they're as big as they were. But the big advantage at the moment is that the second-hand prices are so strong.
Well, this is it. I mean, the prices of the machines. I mean, you're almost getting back pretty much what you pay for them in some circumstances.
Well, yeah, maybe not quite. It depends on the title.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you rarely lose a fortune. You know, probably no more than you would expect to. I mean, if you was putting the coins in a bar.
Yeah.
The amount of plays you put on, you probably won't. It probably will be a lot cheaper to own it than it would have been to go and play it, especially as you can drink beer at home. But as I say, there's some real good operators out there that look after their games, but in 99% of cases, they are hobbyists.
There seems to be a trend. Everybody that runs these games has a real love and a passion for them.
And the truth is that if you can get good machines in good condition at a nice venue that people are happy to go to, there's no reason it can't be successful. I mean, here we're run as a non-profit organisation, so we don't make money as such. We don't have a bar. But if you had that, there are places opening up. You've seen the Pinball office that's opening up, and Steve Paget's place at Electric Circus. These kind of venues can do well, but we're still a niche. We're not mainstream at the moment. I think that's fair to say.
Fair dues. Should we have a look at some more machines?
I think we'll look at some machines, mate. Yeah, definitely.
I'll take over that. And
while you're there, if you pardon the expression, this one here, right? I mean, Adam's family's been done to death. This I love. So I'd never played this before around John's house. Played this game, absolutely loved it. Obviously, Spencer's got Theatre of Magic for the time being.
Yep.
Anyway, this is the same designer.
Yep, John Papa Duke.
He did Tales of the Arabian Nights.
He did Tales, Theatre of Magic, this, World Cup Soccer. And do you want to count the ones that he did for Zidware?
No, I don't.
I don't think anyone wants to talk about that.
Great game, right? Well, I know you think it's easy, but you're a very good player.
Okay, yeah, it's a fun game. It's a little bit Rainbow Puke, but it's a very colourful game. It's there's some real innovation in here. So it's the only game I know of where the screen DMD's under the glass, for example. That can be a pain if you have to work on it, but it stops all the glare.
Yes.
From on the glass. A nice feature that's completely new. The Ringmaster is a good idea of a toy. It does have its problems at times, but it's effectively a fan layout. It does.
What do you mean?
In that you've got your shots here. You know,
Okay.
if you consider Medieval Madness, Attack from Mars, Monster Bash, they have the one bash toy, and then the shots are laid out in a fan from there. It's a two-flipper game, and this is the same. You've got various multi-balls. You've got the Juggler multi-ball, the Acrobat multi-ball, plus your standard Arc multi-ball, as well as multi-balls for defeating the Ringmaster. So effectively, this game, when you get it going, it's lots of multi-ball. It really is.
Yeah, no, I loved this one. This is a Sega.
Yes.
Did Stern buy Sega? Stern bought out Sega. Have I got that right?
They did, yes. Well, Gary Stern was involved, I think, with Sega.
Because that 9-ball says Stern on it.
So that was the original Stern. That was Gary Stern's father.
Barry Stern?
Gary Stern.
Yeah.
I don't know his father might have been Gary as well. I don't know, but that was the original company that died off. Then Data East appeared. Data East then became Sega. Sega then became Stern.
Okay, fair enough. This has got a good innovation on it, Goldeneye.
Goldeneye, great game. One of the best Segas, yeah.
It's got that shot into the...
Shoot into the satellite.
Looks more like a fruit bowl, really, doesn't it?
Well,
actually, half a light bulb.
It does look like half a
To be honest, it's amazing it doesn't get smashed. You'd think it'd get destroyed, but it's got a big magnet in there.
Yeah.
This ramp lifts up, so when you start multi-ball, the ball comes through here, the ramp comes up, and you have to hit it up into the dish.
Yeah, Spence, focus on that. That's a tank. Focus on this. That's a Tommy.
That is a Tommy. So we've got Tommy
And a tank.
and a tank.
There we go.
Who would have thought, eh?
Fantastic. Earthshaker.
Yep.
Matt, does it shake?
Yes.
Was this the first shaker motor?
Oh, good question.
I just wonder about that. That's what it's got.
It wouldn't surprise me. I'm not 100% on that, but it wouldn't surprise me. So this one has the modified building that goes up and down, which originally was only on the prototypes, but in a lot of cases has been retrofit. It's a Pat Lawler game. It's actually a really good game. It's simple. It's very much like Whirlwind, very similar. Instead of doing the directions of the wind, in this case, you're hitting the zone targets that are lit up to light the locks.
It's quite interesting you mention a building going up and down, because there's been a game released not so long ago that's got a building that goes up.
Yeah, well, I mean, Keith Elwin, if you look at his designs, you will see elements from other games. He's taken his favourite elements from other games and put them into his designs. And don't get me wrong, he lays them out very, very well, which is let's face it, that's the art of it. And he puts fantastic rules with them. But every one of his releases, you'll have a look and you'll see elements that have come from...
Congo through the pop bumpers?
Well, I mean, it's not just Congo, but...
Is it? Okay.
No, I mean, Shooting Through the Pop Bumpers is a Pat Lauder classic.
Is it?
Adams, Twilight Zone, this year.
Oh, of course, Adams. Yeah.
So that's not uncommon, but that's certainly... But, I mean, again, you look at Avengers, for example, you've got your 3 bank targets with the 9 grid. That's straight out of Ripley's Believe It or Not, which I believe is one of Keith's favourite games, or certainly was.
Sure.
So, and there's elements that he's got. Even in Godzilla, the way you have to hit both ramps to light the battle at the saucer,
Right.
well, that's very reminiscent to me of Twilight Zone. You hit both ramps and it lights the gumball. You know, so there's design elements that have been... I'm not saying it's laid out the same, but I think ideas... But that's why wouldn't you? Why would you reinvent the wheel when you can just move them around?
When we were at Pinfest and I did a video, just Batman caught my eye because it's a rare game, or as I now know, because Dave told me, a Kapow game. Mm-hmm. This was next to it, Black Knight 2000. Now, Tony, it was one of your, one of your presidents, one of the people that.
Tony Malloy.
He's
a member.
He's a member. Okay, sorry, I thought he had pinballs here. Had machines here.
He has had machines here in the past. Yeah.
Sorry, I called it the 10. I keep don't know what the 10 president,
the founders we call them.
Gods.
The 10 commanders.
The 10 commanders. The 10 commanders.
10 nutters.
The chiefs. Okay, but Tony said to me, I can't believe. He said, you did a video on this Batman machine. He said right next to it was a Black Knight 2000.
Yep.
He said you should have done that video. Why should I have done this video?
Okay, this is another game that I find a bit easy, if I'm honest. It's very much right. If you're right-handed, you're laughing because you'll very rarely use the left flipper. The sound and the light show on this game was revolutionary at the time it was released, which I think is why it's so well remembered. It's a Steve Ritchie design, fast-flowing game. But yes, it is very right-hand dominated because the main shot you'll do is shoot up there to get onto the top playfield.
Yeah.
When you're using the right flipper again to do more loops and hit the targets to light the locks. So, and when it drops off the upper playfield, you can lift the flipper up, just catch the ball, hit it back again.
Okay.
And in a competition setting, that's all you'll be doing all day. So, it's not one of my favourites, but it really is an eye-catching game, and certainly from a sound point of view, again, at the time it was revolutionary.
What you mean? You said about the right-handed. You obviously, I mean, again, you're a good player. Mm-hmm. You're stronger off one side. Most people stronger off one side. I didn't even bloody notice.
I mean, it's hard to say. I would suspect that most people, if you're a right-handed person, my assumption would be that you probably shoot more accurately or better with your right hand. Steve Ritchie's right-handed. If you look at nearly all of his games, they're right-hand dominant. The flipper, the extra flipper was nearly always on the right-hand side, or the cannon. Whether it's coincidence or not, I don't know, but I suspect that that's the reason.
It's never occurred to me.
Never. Well, I mean, to be fair, myself and Spencer juggle, so we learnt very early to use both hands. You have to when you're juggling. Yeah. Thanks, Spence. You certainly have to. Cheers, mate. Right, okay. It's brilliant. He's a naughty boy behind the camera. I'll get behind the camera in a minute and wind him up. I like this. I've always fancied one of these. I've never even played it, by the way.
Good fun. Yeah. Good fun game, Flintstones. Not the deepest rule set, but it's good fun. I mean, my kids, when I had it at home, they loved it. So did the wife, actually.
Did you put it here to punish them?
No, I got it here because I got it for a friend. But it's just a fun game, fun music, fun little modes, and the multiple's good fun. So it's a nice shooting game. It's got some innovation with the way the ball travels around the back of the flippers on the ramp, which you don't find in any other game, where it loads the ball to the flipper.
Sure, okay, yeah.
But it's a fun game. It's a good entry-level game, I would say. If you can get a Flintstones for a decent price, I don't think you'd regret it.
Well, from something that was a lot of fun.
Yep.
This here, Revenge from Mars.
Yes.
This was a real innovation at the time because, well, the screen's not there. I take it it's up there, isn't it? And it's reflected on there. Do you like, as a lover of Attack from Mars, how's this?
It's very fun. There's lots of humour in it. The way that the reflective screen, the sort of hollow effect, is really well done. And this was, a new innovation to save pinball, to bring something new to the market. And even today, it still stands out as being so different from modern games. I don't think this game was the reason it didn't save Pinball. I think if you ever get a chance to play Star Wars Episode 1 that came afterwards, you'll understand why it didn't go any further, because instead of creating images on the playfield for you to hit and destroy like they did with this, it just plays video clips, which kind of, you lose the special effect of the images on the playfield. But it's a good fun game. I wouldn't say I enjoy it as much as Attack from Mars, but it's a worthy game to play.
I think Attack from Mars is an absolute classic. Well, we speak about this in the video that we do.
Yep.
When we're obviously just having a look around the club and telling people about the club. This is beautiful. Would you agree? I'm always struck by this. I love that back glass, and there's something really nice about this game.
Yeah, I mean, this game has been restored by Mark Squires.
Mark Squires, who is in the Pinball Hall of Fame, I believe.
Yeah, if he's not, he should be.
He is, I believe.
The Pinball Surgery, I think it is. You'll see him on the restorers on TV and stuff. So I remember when Stan bought this game, the playfield was very badly worn. So this is an overlay that's been put onto the playfield by Mark. And he's done a fantastic job, because I know that it didn't line up perfectly, but he's done a real good job of getting it on there. And it plays so nice, and it's a classic fun game. It really is.
Yeah. Well, I've never played it. Looks absolutely. In fact,
can I have a go?
Do you know what? We'll have a go right now.
Let's see if you scissor yourself.
Scissor myself. It's got a delicate. Oh, was I meant to do that? Is that the?
You scissored yourself.
Did you see that, Spence?
It didn't take long.
Did you see what happened?
It went down the middle, didn't it, Chris?
No, it went in between these two flippers.
You got a double flipper.
Sneaky.
Careful of that.
Come on. I was going for that. I'll tell you what, I won't get scissored again. Or maybe I will. It's weird, isn't it?
Now.
I will.
So the real way to get points on this is the drop targets. Because after the first one, it's times 2, times 3, times 4 on your bonus. Or times 2, times 3, times 5, sorry.
It's weird, isn't it? Because the temptation is... Oh dear.
But it is dangerous.
That's a really interesting design, that, with those double flippers.
The key with this is when it comes to this flipper, don't always flip, let it bounce over. And then you can wait till it's where you want it to hit.
Let it bounce over from here to there?
Yeah.
Okay.
But just don't lift that flipper or you'll scissor yourself again. But even there you can,
Okay, come on. That's weird, it's weird.
You're scared of it now, aren't you?
I am scared of it, yeah.
Another game that does this is Paragon.
Okay, which is a big game, isn't it?
So it's a wide body bally, it's a great game.
I was actually scared to make the shot then. He's
done it again!
No, come on. Boo. Okay, what we'll do is we'll cut and edit that. And what we'll do is we'll go back to start and I'll say I hate this game. Oh, I got a fourth ball.
Yeah, third ball.
Hey?
You've only scissored yourself twice.
Did I lose both balls with the scissor?
Yeah. Don't worry, third time's a charm.
Come on. Yes.
That's the way.
Yes.
And from that flipper, you really want to hit that spinner, get it back up the top. Oh, sorry, there's 3 spinners. The wide one, usually.
Yeah, you're just trying to muck me about. Oh, no!
3 in a row. Fair play.
I like it though. It's good.
It's a fun, challenging game.
You'd have to learn that. Right, go on, Spence. You go and have a little walk around with Matt, and I'll go and lick me wounds.
What are we going to have a look at?
Well, let's have a look at Genie, because that's one of the few Gottliebs we have at the club. We got a real thing about having a wide selection of makes, designs,
and eras by the looks of things.
Well, yes. I mean, pinball isn't just about modern games. It's good for having variety of competition and to learn. You learn different skills in different ages of games, and it's really nice to have an old Gottlieb here in the club. So.
Fortunately, it doesn't have double sets of flippers on it, because otherwise I wouldn't be having a go. Should we crank it up?
Yeah, have a go.
It's got an additional flipper there.
It has.
Right, let's...
And thanks to the fact it's got a Pascal board in it, it has ball saver, skill shot, and it's reliable.
Really?
Yeah, it has that. So this has had a modern board fitted.
Well, I mean, it's massive as well. Let's just...
Oh, it's very wide.
Oh, my goodness, there's flippers all over the place.
Yeah, it's 5 flippers.
5 flippers. It's in good nick, isn't it, Matt?
It is. At the moment, this has got a plastic overlay protector on it to prolong the life of the playfield.
So that's a Mylar, is it?
Effectively a thick Mylar. And it also helps the ball roll smoothly as well.
I'm used to, obviously, a more modern flipper action, which is a lot harder than this. It's...
Well, you're doing quite well, to be honest. This is normally a really brutal game.
You see, I seem to be getting on with the brutal ones today.
Yeah, everyone's due a bit of luck at some point, I find.
Yeah, thanks.
Is that every dog on that?
Every dog has a
straight down the middle.
Good.
Straight down the middle.
Good bonus.
Can't him playing that
There's
all
a
day and
lot
ruining the chinwag of his boring flipper skills.
There's a lot going on this. You've got sort of three
playfield areas.
You've got this up here on top right, and then the whole of the top left there.
But I just love the artwork on these games. I mean, the back glass artwork, even on the playfield, the more you look, the more you see.
Very much so, especially that young lady there. The more you look, the more you do see, in fact.
Is that the genie?
Yeah, she's doing well. I'm going to finish this ball.
Yes, the genie, yeah. She's all right.
It is the bloke. It is the bloke ogling the genie's belly button, which is the...
I think it's just a height difference.
Is it? Yeah.
That's what Chris blames it on.
I can do. There you go. Won't be long.
It is
He's
height
lost
difference.
two, won't be long
He's
now.
looking at a belly button. Have you noticed that, Chris?
So, yeah,
To be fair, it's not just him, it's the other girl as well.
well, she's looking at his hat.
She is.
Yes.
She's thinking, oh, what a fine hat. He's thinking, oh, look at that genie.
She's looking at his hat and going, that's wider than my waist.
Oh dear.
There
Right,
we go.
I've blown that. That's my end of my flipper skills. And then we've got high speed. Now, I've played high speed too.
Yep.
I've never played high speed.
Very similar layout, as you can probably see. This is obviously the original game.
Yeah.
So the main difference, really, is there's no supercharger.
Yeah.
On this original game, you have these ramps with the wireforms that lead into locks that kick out. But otherwise, it's very, very similar gameplay. Probably more challenging, I would say, this one to play. But it's
In what respect?
I think because I don't know. Maybe it's a personal thing because in reality, the flippers are in the same place, the shots are in the same place, but I find the getaway easier to play. Maybe it's that Barry Williams '90s feel that I'm more used to. But this really is fast.
So when did this one come out then?
This would have been 83, something like that.
Oh, so this is quite early then.
No, it'll be later than that, won't it? Hang on, let's have a look. 85, there you go.
The date's on it, is it?
It is, yeah, I cheated there.
You didn't cheat.
I'm glad you can read.
So 85, yeah.
Again, still not exactly a late game by any stretch of the
No, I mean,
imagination.
we're talking here when Steve Ritchie was releasing really, really phenomenal games at the time. Games that really did earn good money on site when pinball was at a real peak of earnings. This game was a real classic. This Black Knight 2000, which came out a bit later, those games really did
Because
take the arcades by storm.
If I had to put money on which one of those came out first, I'd have put Black Knight 2000 followed by this.
No, definitely the other way around.
I know it is the other way around, but this looks a much more modern game to a certain degree than Black Knight 2000.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, that might as well be because you associate the visuals you're seeing with the Getaway, which you know is a newer game. But it's a really fun game. Can be challenging.
Is this, Matt, just to stop the reflection?
Yeah, so these are just purely to block the reflection off the glass. It's a very cheap and easy way. It's a lot cheaper than Invisiglass. I've taken it out, I can't get it back in there. And these were used, I can't remember who it was that sold these. You can get them for a couple of quid. I've made a pig's ear of that. Can you edit?
Well, no, I'm going to leave it in.
Excellent. Good stuff.
Yeah.
I was going to come on to this one next because this is a very pretty machine.
Avatar, yeah.
Yeah, the blue lights and the playfield artwork. It's just pretty.
Yeah, it's a simple rule set. A lot of people like to play this in competition. Look, it can be a bit brutal at times because you've got the double side metal rails there. But it's a fun game.
What do you mean? Why brutal? Because why? Why those?
Well, I mean, we have the outlanes wide open, which is probably why in the club I consider it can be brutal, but if you play a control game.
Okay.
But with this game, mostly you're going to be aiming, certainly in competition sense, for your Link multi-balls and Amsu multi-ball. Try and get the multiplier on the jackpot shots for a big multiplied super jackpot. And rinse and repeat.
So does this reward...
That's a 3D glass.
It is, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was one of the big features of this when it was released. Because if you remember, the movie was 3D, wasn't it?
Of course it was. I didn't think it was a terrible film. It was James. I was about to say it was James Cameron, but I just realised it's going to look like I'm reading from the back.
It was Dances with Wolves, with aliens, wasn't it?
He did
Dances with aliens, too.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Dances with he does. Well, better than doing other things with aliens. So we got the Black Rose. Spencer used to have a Black Rose.
I used to have one of these. Yes, back in the day. It's the only machine I've ever sold.
Might say something. I mean, Black Rose is a guilty pleasure. I call it a guilty pleasure because it's quite fun at times.
It is.
I mean, I really enjoyed it when I first got it until I learned that I could play it a certain way to get points. And effectively now, if it's in a competition here, it's a very boring watch because you shoot up the middle.
Yep.
Then the ball comes back, you control it, you shoot up the middle, and that's the same over and over again, pretty much every player. So from a competition point of view, and it's not all about competition, I understand that, it can get a little dull. But if you actually play the game, it's fun.
But this has got an interesting toy. Tell us about the toy in the centre for anybody that doesn't know.
So the big feature of this game, you have the cannon here, the ball loads from underneath the playfield, and this rotates. And you can hit the fire button to shoot the ball, that flap lifts up and it fires the ball out with the solenoid. And the idea is to hit the centre shot most of the time. You could fire it into the lock or the ramp if you wish. But
I've fired it all over the place in the time.
well, I've heard that about you, yeah.
Like Star Trek The Next Generation or like Walking Dead or that sort of thing.
Yeah, but the main feature is that the cannon is under the ball appears from underneath the playfield rather than being a cannon that's mounted up high.
A pinball moment, as Scott might say.
You've glossed over Spirit.
I've not. We mentioned it in the other one. I just wanted to, just because otherwise we get told off. There it is. All right, it just gets spoken about so much.
Roadshow.
Is that one for David in particular?
It's not just David. It's not just David. Craig's.
This is my favourite Pat Lawler game, personally.
Oh, all right. Blimey, here's another one. Right, okay. We've got to talk about it. I was trying to get away with it.
Oh, sorry.
Why is it so good?
It's got more fun in it than any of the other Pat Lawler games, I think.
More fun than Funhouse?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. The cheesy tune that Carlene Carter sings, eventually you'll grow to love it, because when you hear it, it means that you've got the super jackpot, so...
Is it the sort of tune that wakes you up in the middle of the night in a hot sweat?
No, but it is the sort of tune you will catch yourself humming along later in the day.
Okay.
And the modes are good, there's lots of them, there's lots of shots. It's the
lights on the pop bumpers are nice.
Well, they're not standard, but yeah.
I've got those on my theatre, and they're a beautiful addition to any machine.
I mean, this is a particularly nice example.
I was about to say this looks incredibly good.
Yeah. I mean, this is probably the fourth one I've had, and it's definitely the nicest.
Wow.
Come on, and tell us about the Spirit.
Spirit
Centurion.
Another Gottlieb. A lot of people would say the best. When you had Craig on and he told you that his favourite shot in pinball, one of them is the long lock into the far corner.
Okay. Well, we got to know. What's your favourite shot in pinball?
Well, when you asked the question on your chat, the first shot that came to my mind was that long shot there, and I thought, damn it, he's nicked my shot.
Well, hold on a second. So the shot. Let's just get this right.
From this flipper.
Yeah.
Through that gate, into the top corner lock.
This gate, where is it? This gate here.
Yep, just
There's a lot of reflection on there.
It's from the angle you come at. That's a tight shot, and it's just there's something because it's such a long shot and it's not easy. It's very satisfying.
There's a metal insert there that's on a slight curve. Do you have to miss that curve, or do you have
No. It will guide it in.
Right, so that guide.
So if you look, you've got a guide there that turns that way, and then one in the corner that goes that way. It's kind of like it's not Deadpool, but it's the same.
Okay.
So it uses a turn to get it up.
So I can see why that's satisfying.
But also, with this, the way the game works is you lock 3 balls, and then it releases them all. But you can only lock one at a time, so the light moves as to which one is available to lock.
It stipulates which one
you have to go for, and that changes with slingshot hits. And if you've ever played Spirit, you will. The slings are very vertical, so the ball does go side to side a lot, and it keeps changing.
Wow.
So obviously the ones closest to the flippers are slightly easier. But yeah, getting that and timing it is...
I can see why that's a
little
good
upper
shot.
playfield there as well.
There's a lot going on in this game. You've got these outlane flipper saves, which you can hit the targets. Oh, I've just noticed a bit of plastic there. But if you hit the Stargate target, then you hit the ball under that ramp that lifts up, and that's another multi-ball.
There's a lot going on in that, isn't there?
You can get the multipliers. It's of the Gottliebs, this is by far my favourite.
So what age is this machine then? Just to put it into some sort of context.
Damn it, you've done me. I think again early 80s.
Probably on the card?
82, something like that.
Okay.
No.
82, again.
I don't quote me on that, but around that era.
Okay.
Let's go. We'll go with 80. We'll go with 82. Oh, no, look. Do you know what? That does. That is
got a lot
interesting.
going on it.
I've got a project one of them to do.
Moving on to the next section. Okay, so one of your favourites there, which is AC/DC.
Yeah, three of my favourites in a line there: AC/DC, Creature, and Flash Gordon.
Okay.
All good games.
I mean, Gordon's
Apparently he's alive, yeah.
alive. He whispers it. He doesn't shout it. Blessed is the game.
Blessed is the game indeed.
Walkman Jive. He doesn't whisper that bit. Gordon's alive. It's more of a whisper than a shout.
At high volume.
There he is. Tell us about Creech, though, because this is a...
Creature, a game I avoided for many years, just purely because it only had two-ball multi-ball. And I thought, two-ball multi-ball, it can't be as good as the others, and how wrong I was. It's a really fun game. Simple rule set again. You spell film to light the lock and start the two-ball multi-ball. And then you have to rescue the girl, get the jackpot, and if you're lucky enough, hit into the bowl to spell Creature and multiply the jackpots. Very simple to say, much harder to do.
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, the first time I ever saw this, it reminded me a lot of theatre, actually, in as much as everything's here. Everything's sort of about there at the playfield.
I know what you mean. There's a lot of stuff closer to the flippers.
Yeah, which generally I don't like, although I do like it on theatre. So, for instance, played, what's the thing? The Black Knight. Played the Black Knight, the new one. I hated it. Because it is just all
lots of posts
there. And I'll tell you what's the same as well. Game of Thrones.
Yes.
They're
both Steve Ritchie's, very similar designs.
All there, and it's a little bit much. The first time I played this, I wasn't so keen, but then I played it a second time. I thought, actually, there is an open section here, which was quite good.
Also, it's got fantastic music. The look and the feel of the game, that 50s drive-in movie, is very appealing. The lights on the ramps, although these, I don't know if they are working, are very, very good. It's a fun game to play.
It is. I think it's a brilliant game. I think in terms of theme, in terms of look,
it's really well done.
It's amazing. If you've ever seen Davies stumble off the forum, he's done a. What word I'm looking for? He's shopped it and.
Yeah. Well, I've got the Swinks snack bar mod and Davies board to drive it.
It flickers the light.
And I've got his new big large screen coming.
Yes.
So this isn't my one. My one's at home waiting for it all to go in. And I've got a new plastic set. That'll be another one I throw a load at. But it's a really good game. I wouldn't be without one anymore.
It's a Steve Ritchie
I
game.
particularly love the back glass on this.
Beautiful.
It is stunning.
It's beautiful, and the hologram is great. And also, I don't know if you might know, Spence. The Creature is on Monster Bash. So there's a little. He's over. He's in that side.
There's a little tie in there.
Yeah, it's a small creature. It's more of a tadpole. Really.
A bit like Brian Blessed.
Yeah. He's smaller than you think. He's a small creature. This is Steve Ritchie, right?
Yep, AC/DC.
You love this game.
Yes. I'll tell you why. It's not easy to get to Encore.
There's a lot going on. The guitar and Spencer.
Well, this machine has been heavily modified.
Has it?
Yeah. So this was done by Stan Simpson, who's otherwise known as the Mod Man. So I mean, that's not an original apron. That's not original. It's a loosey lower playfield with Helen artwork pack.
That's not the original back glass, no?
No, that's not original. It's not the original. Was just the band members.
Okay.
Fairly dull looking. that's a modification. That's a it's countless.
It's beautiful.
When Stan does it, he goes to
You're
town.
going to tell me why you like this game. Sorry.
Well, this is a risk-reward game. So you can play, you can get your multiples, that's fine. But for me, the joy of this game is, or why I never get bored of it, is that you build up your song jackpot. And when you've spelt fire enough times, it lights the cannon, you can fire and collect that jackpot. And it might be 20 million if you're having a really good go.
Sure.
But you've got playfield multipliers. You hit the bell, which is a dangerous shot, 3 times, you get 2 times multiplier. If, before it times out, you can hit the bell 3 times again, it becomes 3 times multiplier. So that 20 million becomes 60 million.
I like that, actually, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, the biggest jackpot I've ever had was 210 million, which was 3 times 70, which I've not managed to do again since. Well, that's why it's the highest. But what I have done is I built the song jackpot up to 125 million on a really good go. Now, what I was desperate to do at that point was get the multiplier up so that I could get nearly 400 million jackpot. And that's where the gamble comes. So rather than just taking that jackpot, I was trying to get the multiplier, which is a dangerous thing to do.
You can lose the ball.
And then I lost the ball.
Course, yeah.
But that's what drives me coming back every time. There's always something. It's not like some games you complete the game and you're like, there's not a lot more to do. I can complete it again with a slight more score. But for me, I can play this game all day just trying to risk-reward my way to a big jackpot. And it's a very satisfying thing.
I love
the music, so that really helps.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, well, speaking of music, we're going to metamorphosize ourselves into, what's it called? Transporter?
Transport.
We're going to transport ourselves into another room that's got another music pin, which is not one of my favourites, but my son, who's milling around here somewhere, avoiding the camera, he said, one of the first things he said was he loved Iron Maiden. I think he meant the game.
I think he meant the game. Are you going to do the whole wobbly thing?
Maybe it's because that one's got disco music.
Maybe. Right, as if by magic. So here's the... I say the last room. You've not seen the other. Actually, we've got one more room to do, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've referred to this as the stern room.
The stern room.
Even though we have demolition man.
Not because it's strict.
I was frowning. Is that
You
the wrong
were,
sort of
yeah.
stern? Okay.
That's what I was saying. I was just talking about Game of Thrones. It's. I mean, funny enough, it's not as far forward as I said, but I still find it quite a frustrating game actually when it hits those posts. Metallica, obviously another music theme, big. Who is it? John Borg did Metallica, right?
Yep, and this is the limited edition.
Is it?
Master, yeah, it's LE.
Yeah.
Master Puppets. So you have the hammer which you don't get on the Pro.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never seen that. Yeah.
Obviously, proper back glass. This has got a few mods on it as well, but this is a beautiful game.
And this has got Invisiglass on it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's why the camera was just cutting through that, like butter.
I mean, you may know that Neil's organised a lot of the shipments of Invisiglass to come here. So, that's why a lot of people have been here to see the club, because they've been collecting glass, but also we get lots of sheets in for ourselves to put in the games.
Yeah, no,
it's a fantastic material. I mean, anybody that doesn't know what it is, I mean, the difference between these two machines, as far as the amount of reflections that are coming off this glass from the lights above.
Yeah. They've both got Invisiglass on.
Yeah.
Really? No, this one looks like it's got more reflections, but okay, I'll stand corrected on that one in that case.
I think the reason...
You're winding me up, aren't you?
I'll defend you here, because this has got mirrored sides.
Yeah.
It gives that depth that makes you think that it's not.
Cheers for that. Thank you.
I was actually winding you up. It turns out they do. It was a wonder. What do you think about The Walking Dead then? Come on, because that's a tough. That's got a reputation.
Walking Dead is a tough. It can be tough, but it's a fun game. The code is really good. So when it was first released, it was panned pretty badly because the feed out of the pops can be brutal down the middle, and you could play it in a certain way where you didn't really explore the game. Lyman Sheets got hold of it, changed the code, and he forced you to hit the drop targets on the side to start your modes effectively and to get to Bloodbath. And by doing that, it opens up the rest of the game. And it's dangerous, but you can get some. When you get this game going, you can get some really good scores.
Well, I had my first ever experience on this game earlier on today. And I found it really good fun. And I'd heard so many bad things about it. I mean, obviously, pre the code change, I could kind of understand that.
Yeah.
But my first impression of it was, it's actually a damn good game.
But he found it dangerous as well because he stubbed his toe on the leg.
Yeah, I hit my toe on the leg. That really hurt. But the game itself, apart from my own inadequacies with my footwork, the game itself was actually really good. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
I mean, the one feature that I don't love, which is only on the Premium and the LE, is this cannon, which, by the way, if you ever see an Austin Powers, this ramp and this cannon are straight out of that game.
Oh, right.
It didn't bother redesigning it. But for me, it's virtually a useless toy.
I don't like it.
But the rest of the game is good fun. But let's be honest, it goes to show what difference code can make.
Yeah.
This went from a game nobody wanted to a game everybody wanted.
Well, they were suddenly appearing on the market. Nobody wanted one for love nor money, and now everybody wants them again.
But having said that, I've put one of these on site. It was a premium, and it did not get played. It did not get played. So
I think
to Joe Public, I think it was too tough. There were easier games they could put a pound and enjoy a long game. If you're a pinball player, then I think you'll really appreciate this because, unlike most of the modern Sterns, you'll have games where you get very little score, maybe 2 or 3 times, and then you'll get a really good game, and that's what makes it so satisfying when you do that. Other games that are easier, where you always get in a good game, as I was saying earlier, you're disappointed if you don't get a decent score. Whereas with this, when you get a good score,
you're really pleased.
You're pleased with yourself, yeah.
Godzilla,
the new boy.
Again, I had my first experience on this today and was incredibly impressed. We've moved away with this game from that standard fan layout.
Yep.
The ball returns in the most incredible ways, most unexpected ways, changes direction. The magnet up there,
the magnet
loops,
grab,
loops the ball beautifully. And we've got all these wire forms here. We've got all of the different guides. It's just crazy.
I mean, even though this is only the Pro, I still think this is a fun game. I played the Elliot Neils recently, and that's an even better game, if I'm honest.
Is that because of the building and the
building moving, but also the Mechagodzilla, the way that turns, it's actually easier on the Pro and LE.
Because I've not seen the LE yet, so this is my only experience.
Well, with the Mechagodzilla here, you hit the spinner a certain number of times, and then you have to hit the targets, which are on the side here. On the Premium LE, obviously you make those shots first, and then it turns, so the targets are right in front of you, so they're easier to make from the lower flippers.
and it gives you a little ramp shot, Spence, a little bit like the old Gophers one, but not quite as big as that, but it gives a little ramp and it hits the magnet.
I mean, my biggest gripe with this game is the music. When we first installed this, we had the music up loud, and it was the first thing I wanted to do was to turn the volume off because I don't enjoy the music on this game. It really grates at me after a while. But the actual layout of the game and the rules, great fun.
Yeah, I did find it quite immersive, actually. I got quite into it.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it.
But then I never grew up watching Godzilla, if I'm honest. No. So the theme does nothing for me.
I don't think any of us did, really. I mean, I'm the right age, but...
Well, I'm not sure you are, mate, to be fair.
Well,
I don't think you are. I think it's old, it is.
I remember going to see Godzilla films at the cinema.
Yeah.
But the Insider Connected feature is really good fun.
You like that?
Well, depending on what the cost ends up being, I wouldn't mind putting that on some of my games that are in the bars, but
really,
it's an expensive thing to do for something that only a few people might use.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, when my Avengers Infinity Quest turned up recently, I was pleased it wasn't on there. You sort of don't know because they said every game they're going to start producing now's got it on, and mine didn't have it, so I was sort of quite.
But if you can buy one apron and then mix it from machine to machine, so you can try and get the achievements, it adds another depth of things to do.
That's not a bad idea. Don't worry, we'll ignore that one, Spence. That one there. Okay. This is.
Oh wow.
Sorry, I'm just teasing. I don't like
Avengers.
I just only wanted to point this out. So obviously, Spence, this is the extra loop around there. Yeah. Let me just turn the ISO.
You also get the lifting spinning disc rather than just a stationary flat one,
which is like the old Circus Voltaire.
Very similar.
We played this one at Pinfest, didn't we? That was the.
Of all the modern games, this is my favourite. It's such a good shooting game. I know the rules are confusing and there's a lot to learn, but to me that's something that I can do over time. But shooting the shots is just good fun.
The shots are incredibly good. I would say the only letdown for me personally is the theme, because I'm not an Avengers fan.
I would agree. I'm not a huge Avengers fan, but as a game that you can just turn up and play, the shots are really satisfying. Really good game.
I've played. Chris has obviously got one at his house. I've been playing on that.
Is it the Pro?
That's the Pro, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, I find that easier because the spinning disc is a lot. The spinner is a lot easier to hit than that loopy shot.
Yeah.
But even still, it's a fun game.
Yeah,
it really is.
It is.
I'd have one in a heartbeat if there was one.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're selling.
I got it dialed in really quickly.
Yeah.
And that was the nice thing about it. Some great shots. And they're not too difficult, but very satisfying when you get
Yeah, I think the nuance here will be learning about where the gems go.
It's not intuitive, mate. It's not. It's a complicated old.
It isn't. It doesn't do a very good job at all of explaining how to play.
No, but the shots in terms of ramps are as good as anything.
Yeah.
Anything. The sounds I could live without it. In fact, I'd like to mute Thanos. I'd like to do a bit more than music.
It can't be as bad as that.
Well, I think all Will wins games. I think he spends so much on what's on the playfield and the shots and the ramps and the wireframes. I don't think there's anything left over for graphics and sound and stuff like that. I think all the sounds crap on all of them.
It's probably somebody else's job.
Yeah, but I think they're just left with tuppence at the end of it. It's, hold on, how much money's left? Well, nothing. We spent it all on wireframes.
Iron Maiden had original soundtracks.
Exactly, awful, isn't it?
But then Neil changed all his to disco music because he can't stand
I wouldn't have chosen disco music, but any time we can mute Iron Maiden.
What's he got on there then? Don't.
No, you can't. Sorry. The only reason we had to do that was because, by the way, let me just take you in here. This is the kitchenette area. The only reason we had to do that was because we get copyright strike on the...
Apologies.
There's certain things we probably couldn't press play on. Be Metallica, and yeah, I mean, there'll be copyright, so we'd actually have to pay Iron Maiden to play their music. Quite frankly, Iron Maiden should be paying me to listen to their music.
You'll be paying ABBA and Gloria Gaynor and others.
Oh, we would. You're right, wouldn't we? Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what, though, they look nice. I think it's I find it a harsh game. I can't get on with this game at all. I find that actually, do you know what? Judge Dredd had one of those little tiny flippers there. I find them next to useless. Give me a.
Well, actually,
proper slice flipper.
If you want to play this game at the beginning, I would advocate not using that flipper at all. So if you shoot up the centre to get one of your Eddie targets, the ball will come round. If you don't flip, it bounce off that flipper straight there, under control, and you can make another shot. As soon as you use that flipper, you're putting the ball sideways, and you're in danger of coming down here or coming back across here. So actually, generally speaking, when people play for score, they'll avoid that.
Well, I got drawn on that machine at Neil's tournament. Suffice to say, I didn't play very well. We've got Guardians there, we've got Led Zeppelin, we've got Iron Man. But should we go and have a look at that other room? Because there's a game in there.
There's a game in there
that you're very fond of, Spencer.
That's caught my imagination a little bit. Let's go and have a look.
So what do we call this room, Matt?
Generally speaking, we'd call this the Classics room.
The Classics room.
It's not entirely Classics because Cactus is in the corner because we're having a bit of a meltdown lately. But I'm a big fan of Zaccaria games, so you can see we've got 4 here in a line. Pinball Champ, Spooky, which is a very rare game.
The eyes move on the owl, I noticed.
Yep. This is one of only 80 made.
Really?
That really is rare.
Yeah, you certainly won't find one on location anywhere. Farfalla, which is a very colourful game.
Hold on a second.
And a very risque back glass.
What's going on with her?
I think we know exactly what's going on with her.
She's very happy to be playing the game.
She's got it all going on.
Well, no, you're saying she. Farfalla means butterfly. That's a butterfly.
It's not a butterfly. I'll tell you what. I'm going to come round to your garden if that's a butterfly.
I think it's definitely a female butterfly.
It definitely is.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
And Robot.
I'll tell you what, Farfalla, that's the nicest looking fella I've seen in a while.
And Robot, again, I was about to say the pinkest ramp you can find, but Spooky's very similar.
They're very reminiscent of each other, actually, aren't they? There's a lot of similarity.
Yeah, they had a style for sure.
Definitely.
And in the corner, a game that's not really a classic, but is designed like a classic.
This is
Total Nuclear Annihilation.
This is Total Nuclear Annihilation, and it has caught my imagination. I love this game. The soundtrack is brilliant. The gameplay is just pure addiction.
It's fast and it's furious.
Should we have a quick go?
Yeah.
Go on.
We won't do a whole
There you go. So
two-player game.
this will be your video. He said we got to have a video of this on the
The
channel.
only problem is with the lights on, you don't get the full light show, which is a shame because this is really bright. Oh, he's only got the skill shot.
Level 1.
Straight in.
Unlocked. Skill shot complete. Please stand by for reactor startup sequence.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's fast. It's wickedly fast. This game.
Reactor online.
Faster than me.
Oh, wow, I don't know. You've managed to get that. I'm just almost beyond the flippers that you salvaged there.
So this is a simple game that's highly addictive, great light show, great soundtrack, and a really good multiplayer game, especially with friends. You can steal each other's locks. Just simple but tough.
It's very bassy, isn't it?
Yeah, the designer of this, Scott Danesi, is he writes music as well as a hobby.
Okay.
So he's very in tune with how a machine sounds. So I believe you'll find that the bass speaker in this is in a bass box,
Sure.
as it should be, to get good sound.
Reactor destroyed. Mystery board lit.
Do you know what you're doing here, Spencer?
Not a clue.
What should he on his last ball, Matt? What should Spencer be trying to
Should
hit?
be aiming for these.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, to get these
Yeah.
these little
What you
rows.
want to try and do is
targets.
time the releasing of the multi-ball with the start of a reactor going critical. Because in multi-ball, the number of balls on the playfield is how many times each your points are. Playfield multiplier. So when you destroy a reactor for, say, 100,000, if you've got 3 balls on the playfield, it's 300,000.
Sure. So basically, what you're saying is, if we were playing 2-player, those balls that are, oh dear, let's get a ball safe there.
Right.
Yes, so if you're playing 2-player, Spencer could lock 2 balls, then I could turn up and just steal them
Yeah.
with one shot.
Which is exactly what I did to Matt earlier on.
I see. Did you beat him?
No, I didn't
There
actually.
you
Did you
go.
not?
You stole his.
I can't remember.
We'll say yes, just to cheer him up.
Oh, thanks.
And a couple more. Obviously, Cactus, as you say, that's under.
So skateball, it's a real fun bally from the early 80s. Fireball, one of the classic EMs, spinning disc, multi-ball, not something you really get with electromechanical games, but this is one of the true, this was medieval madness of its day.
Oh, really?
It does surprise me because when you think of electromechanical, you don't think of spinning disc and all of the other features.
This has got 3-ball multiple on it, flippers
Wow.
that close together. As I say, before the modern 90s, this was the game everyone wanted at the ends, or certainly one of. Yeah, it's a great game. Glad to have it here. Embryon with the questionable centre piece.
Yes, I didn't notice the questionable centre.
It's fantastic. Yes.
Oh, it's like the demi what's it? And Stranger Things.
Interesting. And Medusa, which this is the clean version. There was the original back glass was deemed too risque with the.
Was it? Oh, the original back glass was a bit like Farfalla, was it?
in the material and more bits poking through.
All this. Oh, well.
But the artwork on the actual game itself is fantastic. I love it. The game is a great fun game to play. It's a real good game. This era of ballys in the especially 81, it was a great year for bally games, and Centaur, Fathom, Flash Gordon, all in the same year. It was. I mean, there's a lot of people that collect just that year a game because it makes a great set of machines.
And I love this upright vending machine game.
Yep.
I've been tilting it.
A winner with every prize. Yeah.
You do win one, certainly. Matt, fantastic club, mate.
Thank you.
Fantastic
We'll try.
club. And the rug. Did we do the rug? Did we cover the
No,
rug?
we haven't covered the rug.
Actually, just quickly before we finish up, we've got a video on this, Big Lebowski, and there's a lovely rug, the dude's rug, which really ties the room together. Yeah, so that's really good. look, we've got other videos coming up. We've got actually a proper tour. I say a proper tour. We've covered the whole.
We've done quite a lot of it.
Really, you got to it, but we go a little bit further because we've got a nice tour video coming up to demonstrate the club. So we'll go into all the details there. Matt, thank you very much, mate.
No, you're more than welcome.
Thanks for hosting us and thank you for showing us around this fantastic club. There's the boy. Go on, quickly get him in there. Smile. He's absolutely exhausted. Jakey, just tell us what's the best. What game have you played loads?
The most?
Yeah. Say again. Tommy, you love Tommy? How many games you had?
7, I'd say.
7. Best score?
I don't know. Probably
You do.
435, I think. 435 million.
Well, he's getting better. He's getting better all the time, this boy. In fact, he's whooped me. What have you whooped me on this week? Ghostbusters. He's whooped me on Ghostbusters loads of times this week. Anyway, that's it for this Chinwag number 26. That'll be different. Don't be expecting this every week, by the way. It'll be sat in my shed again next time. Thank you, Spencer. You can say something. Your mic's up.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
I thank you in particular, Farfalla as well. That's really cheery. That's really
Farfalla has made
Farfalla, he's a lovely fella, the best looking fella I've ever seen. We'll catch you next week. Please don't forget to stick your thumbs up. That's no good. Don't just stick your that won't change the algorithm of YouTube at all. You don't just sit there and stick your thumbs up. You've got to hit the button with the thumbs up. It does nothing. Stick your thumbs up does nothing.